Hello and welcome back to the brewery for what should be a fairly simple brew day. What we've got going on today is version 2 of my sort of NEIPA-y thing. This time we've got some interesting hops which I'll talk about in a minute. We have everything in the mash tun ready. So we have 6 kilos of base malt and half each of torrefied wheat, oats and carapils, because that's what I happen to have lying around. Everything's coming up to temperature over here. My overly complicated brewery control system is coming up to temperature, and my much simpler HLT temperature control system is just setting that up. So almost ready to go. Everything's wired up, well, piped up to underlet, and soon we'll have the mash on and ready to go. Okay, so now the mash is on and we are recirculating away. This one seems to hit mashing temperature a bit lower than I want. I'm wondering what's going on there. Maybe I have to adjust some of the calculations. I'm going to keep an eye on it for the next hour or two and then get ready for the spa, which is just warming up here. And we're back with the boil on and the door open after a somewhat epic mash. Bit of a problem with the controller inside here, managing the power, switching the power on and off to the Herms tank, is a relay that's rated to 10 amps and is running at just under 10 amps, running the, well, significantly under 10 amps, switching the elements in here, because this is only a 1.8 I think kilowatt element, might be 1.2, it's fairly small, but this relay appears to stick in the on position, which is really unhelpful because it leads to spikes in temperature and all sorts of things. So I think a bit of a rebuild may be called for, maybe swapping out for a solid state relay or something similar. See if that works better. But we've got the mash through, boiler's on, there's no hops in there yet. I'm just about to start measuring out hops and get that all ready to go in. Now, while the boil is on and with no hops in it at the moment, let's talk a bit about the hops we have. We have Idaho 7, Eldorado and Denali. Why did I choose these hops? Partially because some of them were fairly cheap, and partially because they've got interesting flavours, or I had them lying around. So Denali is quite an interesting hop. Until recently it was called Experimental 06227, I think. It's said to have pineapple and tropical and citrus and pine notes, like most of these modern hops. Eldorado, fairly well-known hop, more tropical notes, maybe some pineapple. And Idaho, yeah, more tropical and some citrus notes, all of which sometimes are said to have a backing of a little bit of pine or a moderate amount of pine. I've not noticed them in any of the ones I've used before. Idaho 7's a new hop to me, so it's going to be interesting to find out. Now, while this beer is supposed to be something along the Northeast IPA style, I don't go 100% whirlpool and dry hopping. I actually put a few hops in, not many. There's 20 grams of each of them at 15.5 and 15.10 and 5 minutes, so one hop at each of those times. I just get a little bit of bitterness in there. A couple of reasons for this. Firstly, because I have a rather big plate chiller, it means my cooling whirlpool is pretty quick. I can just stop it for a while to do more whirlpool hops, and I will do that with the second batch, which is a whirlpool batch. But I'd like to have a little bit in beforehand to make sure there's at least some bitterness rather than a totally sweet thing. Anyway, I'll be back in a bit when it's time to put the hops in. Okay, we're nearly at the end of the boil and the recirculation whirlpool system is on but not cooling. It's just sterilising the plate chiller at the moment. Just been measuring out some hops for the whirlpool edition. I just thought I'd show you what I do with the hop bags. It's another little trick. This open hop bag's at the bottom, so I cut the bottom off the hop bag. Like, get one opened up, put that down there. It means I can then slice the bag off up here when I'm resealing it. And the label's still on it. I can still see what it is. Fairly simple trick, but probably worth knowing about. Right, back in a bit at the later stage of the process. Okay, we're chilling now. through the plate chiller with the cold water and using the runoff to wash out the mash tun, just to save some water and energy. Okay, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I've been having a few issues with stalled and stuck fermentations. I've tried all sorts of things, but I'm going back to the basics and going a bit brute force for this one. So my obvious thought on this is oxygenation. So I have oxygenation stone attached to a nice long piece of tube, and I'm going with a can of what claims to be pure oxygen. I'm going to back this up by pumping some air in through, let me grab this out, a little aquarium pump for a while, and make sure we're extremely well oxygenated before pitching. The large pitch of yeast I have over here, some of you may recognise this stir plate from a previous project. It's currently working quite well and holding temperature and stirring away. Hopefully that large pitch of healthy yeast and a load of oxygen should make this fermentation actually work. Okay, so that was a long brew day over. Beer's in the fridge, yeast is pitched, everything's cleaned up and put away. Well, there's last few bits of washing to do. There's some pipes sat in the bucket of OxyClean there, having a bit of a soak. 5 gravity measurements going on here. Looks like we're ready for about 1060 odd. We'll get the foam off in the sun, get the final reading off that. Everything nice and cleaned up, and hopefully this time we will have fermentation and no stalls or slow starts. We'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.